Is the Arran Sherry Cask as good as ever? Well, we're going to find out today. I'm Jeff. This is G Whiskey. Stick around. All right, so it's the Arran Sherry Cask today. This is a bottle that I have not looked at in a very long time. It's been over 3 years since my last review. The last time I did look at it, I really liked it, which tracks because I enjoy Arran. I don't always love them, but they're pretty reliable. In my last review of this stuff, I praised the quality of the casks, and if you've seen me review any Arran before, you know how much I love the distillate. So on paper, this should be an easy win. However, we will see about that because as much as I did praise this in my last review and as much as I do love Arran, in my experience, the Arran Sherry Cask is very batchy. Now, 87 is a high score. Nowadays, it would probably be closer to 85. That was back in the old days before I brought my scoring system down, but I did enjoy that bottle. However, I've had a few bottles since then that I would score lower. And it's not just a one-off bottle. Between me and my friends, we've come back to this a few times over the years, and as much as it can be good sometimes, consistency is not the word of the day. Anyway, the Arran Sherry Cask has been matured in sherry casks. I know, thank God I'm here. But notably, this is not a finish, so it has been a full sherry cask maturation, mostly done in first fill Oloroso sherry casks. Hey, Chief. This bottle also comes in at cask strength. The bottle I've got here is from November of 2024, so pretty recent. And yeah, I honestly don't know what to expect from this one. That's a lie. I've already had it, so I do. But for the sake of the drama, I don't know how this is going to turn out. So let's jump into our review. In the meantime, if you'll kindly leave a like down below, that'd be greatly appreciated. So this one comes in at a healthy 55.8% ABV, which is right in the sweet spot for me. And as with any Arran, this is going to be non-chill filtered and natural color. So you guys know I love my Arran bottles. They're all craft looking. They have the braille, they have the distillery coordinates on the top. They're somehow both old-timey looking and very modern at the same time. This gets a 4.5 out of 5. This does say non-chill filtered and natural color. They always do. This also gives us some tasting notes. We get the cask types and we don't get any extra marketing fluff. So Arran really does have some of the best bottles in the industry. On the nose, this is sherried naturally, so we get lots of red fruits in here. We get some sweetness, we get some raisins, but we also get quite a bit of spice. This is very gingery, it's very hot. It's even a little bit young, giving us that sort of like ethanol papery note. Behind that, we get some stone fruit, red apples, apricots, some peaches in here, and some Concord grapes. On the palate and finish, this hits us with some nice red fruit sweetness up front. And once again, we get that spiciness. So we get some white pepper heat, some chili heat, some ginger heat, and yes, some alcohol ethanol heat. We also get some oak, some sweet juicy peaches, some sour peach gummy candy, some apricot, some very tangy orangey citrus notes. This comes off a little bit herbal and grassy, gives us a medium to long finish on all those fruits and that spice. All right, so this is very different from my last bottle of Arran Sherry Cask, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This one is not as good. It is much younger and it is much hotter. And what kind of guy looks for something that is young and hot? Not this guy. No, thank you. Now, as I said, historically, this is a batchy whiskey. Some of you find it quite consistent. For me, that's not the case. But you never know. Maybe more recent batches from, let's say, 2025, have gotten better. Anything's possible. Either way, this one tastes younger than other batches. It tastes too young. It's also like tangy and twangy and kind of tart with those orange notes, those citrus notes, which I do like sometimes in other whiskeys, but here it hurts the balance. Of course, this is a cask strength whiskey, so you're free to add water here, and if you do that, yes, it is going to help. It'll round out some of those edges, but you just need to know coming in that this is a very spicy whiskey. And hey, a lot of the spiciness in here is a kind of pleasant spice. There's like a gingery heat, there's peppery heat. I don't mind that, but a good chunk of the heat from this is just from the ethanol, from the alcohol. This is one of the more undercooked Arrans I've ever had. And hey, that's not to say that this is an outright bad whiskey, and a lot of you aren't quite as sensitive to youth as I am. But if you are sensitive to youth and you are sensitive to spice, you might want to skip this one. Otherwise, if that doesn't bother you, you are going to get lots of really nice malty, sherried, peachy notes in here. There's stuff to like here. But for me, this one's just too flawed. It's too young, and other batches haven't been like this. And that's the issue with inconsistent whiskeys. As a consumer, we just don't know what we're getting. You guys might have some beautiful Arran Sherry Casks sitting on your shelves, but the next time you go out and buy it, I can't tell you that you're going to have a repeat experience of that. Yours might be a dud like mine. Even the 10, which I love, is not consistent. People say it's consistent. I will say this, the 10 is consistent with regards to quality. Anytime I buy the 10, I know I'm getting a good whiskey, but I don't know that I'll be getting the same whiskey as what I had last time. I find the level of cask influence can jump around with the 10. Some are very cask forward, some are a little bit more restrained with the cask influence. But yes, in terms of quality, the 10 is much more consistent. With the sherry cask, some are good, some aren't great. And yeah, this one just has that heat, it has that youth, it's got that wet cardboard flavor, so there's a lot of things that just don't really work for me. I think this is too spicy and I think it's off balance. So honestly, as much as I love Arran, this one isn't doing it for me. I'm not going to go as low as 80, but we're going to give this one an 81. So unfortunately, I'm not going to recommend this one. I do think that it is a good whiskey sometimes, but it's just not consistent enough. And like I said, as a consumer, you don't know what you're picking up. Anyway, before we touch on value, I do want to take a quick moment to thank all my channel members, all my patrons. Guys, thank you so much for the support. It's appreciated. And if anyone else out there wants to help support the channel, I've got Patreon and PayPal down there. This whole channel is a one-man show, from the scripting, obviously the shooting, the editing. It's all me, and every or any level of support is genuinely appreciated. Yeah, let's talk about value. So value here is going to be tricky because, as I've said about 50 times in this review, this is a batchy whiskey. And if you get a good batch, this is absolutely worth the money. And if you don't, then it isn't. So that's not very helpful. Anyway, for price, I paid about $45, roughly 34 pounds, which is really not that expensive. And if you get a good batch, like I said, definitely worth the money, but it is a risk. Personally speaking, I'm sure at some point down the line, I will come back to this one. I do love my Arrans, and as I said, it is affordable. So yeah, someday. But for now, I think I might take a little pause, a little break on this one to get over the trauma of this 81-point whiskey. And that'll bring us to the end of the video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. As I said, Patreon and PayPal linked down here. Patrons are over there. If you have any suggestions, things you want to see done in future videos, put them down below and I will keep them in mind for my upcoming videos. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.